Roar. Hold on tight.
Batman speaking. Warning all of you to brace yourselves for big news.
The biggest.
Tell them, Robin.
Holy superlatives, Batman. It's really exciting. Soon, very soon.
Out of the ring in just a moment or two for more exciting fucking action.
Of an IWA tag team battle that took place just a couple of weeks ago in the Winston-Salem Memorial Coliseum. As IWA returned to the Coliseum, the crowd was there, the wrestlers were there, everybody was enthusiastic. And as our special guest commentator on this edition of IWA Championship Wrestling, you are looking now and will be listening to one half of the IWA tag team title holders. Johnny Powers, welcome to another edition of IWA Championship Wrestling. He will be Mike's side. We're going to be commenting on the match. I know it's still fresh in your mind. And if our director now, Mr. Weevil, will roll the tape, we'll watch highlights along with you of the match between Johnny Powers and Nick DeCarlo and the Cuban Assassins just a couple of weeks ago, Johnny, as IWA returned to the Coliseum. And right now, the Cuban Assassins, along with you and Mr. DeCarlo, are in the ring. And of course, over on the left, the screen, you see one bad boy, Billy Hines, their manager.
And he's been a real nemesis for Powers for the last year. He's a little guy that gets in a big way all the time. He is there in front of you, behind you, beside you. But finally, we had Hines, after many, many months of negotiating, we got the promoters of IWA to insist that if he was going to be ringside, that it would be contained somehow. And we asked for an 8-foot cage, and that's where Mr. Hines is right now, being put in the cage. And there's no way that little dude's even going to climb over the top of it. This was because he fussed with so many matches, single matches that I've been involved in, and other wrestlers like Nick. He was involved many times when ex-champions, the Tyler Boys, were involved in their matches. He just fussed a lot at the matches and could create a lot of havoc with them.
And of course makes it 3 against 2.
Yes.
In this case now we've got 2 on 2. DeCarlo and Powers and the Cuban Assassins. And you might want to comment on the Cuban Assassins. They're a new group to this area. They've wrestled all over the country. And right now they are stalking the ring, as it were.
That's exactly what they appear to do. This is the first time I had seen them in the flesh. I'd seen publicity shots on them. Enormous energy levels. They were constantly moving around the ring and climbing the ropes. They were doing that before the match. During the match, the wrestling fans will just see just what a finely conditioned pair these two are. They have enormous ring sense. They are all over the ring, but seem to know what they're doing most of the time. And Nick and I had our hands full for sure with this. I understand that they're brothers. It's a little hard to communicate. One, I don't talk to Hines, and two, I understand that their contract is being renegotiated with the General, Big Bad John, and I'm certainly not about to talk that lout. And their names, I believe, are Acevedo. One is called Angel, another Roao, and the bigger of the two is Angel, I understand. And an angel he isn't, as a lot of wrestling fans will find out. He might be back home an angel, but he certainly wasn't in the Winston-Salem Coliseum that night. They have a great success record all through South America. They had come up through, I understand, the East Coast, stateside. I think it shows you just how well-rounded IWA is on that international flavor. You know? From Italians like Nick to Canadians, to Canucks like myself, and to the Cubans, to von Stroheim as a German. There are just numerous wrestlers. There's a number of Japanese wrestlers in the process. I understand their contracts are being negotiated with the IWA promoters to come into the area. There is a new Indian wrestler that's coming in shortly, Pistol Pez Watley, who was in the match we mentioned previously.
Last week.
Right, great. He's an All-American fellow for sure. University of Tennessee, former Tennessee AAU amateur wrestling champion, state champion, and just a super dude. The IWA ranks are becoming even more rounded and powerful with a new and increased lineup of wrestling stars. The referee here, I listened to the referee. One, there was a communication problem. I don't know if they speak English at all, or if they do, how much. He was trying to direct them and get some kind of order in the ring, and it wasn't happening for a number of minutes there.
And we're underway. There's your partner, Nick DeCarlo.
There's an example of ring psych. The other partner coming into the ring, going out again, just to get you mentally off balance, right? While his partner is having a chance to assess you and set you up for something. He's coming into the ring. Watch this move. What he really fakes him out well. It looks like he's going for arm drag. He ducks down and gets his man in position. Good move. Nick is we're like brothers now. We just think as one. Both of us are basically individuals from the standpoint of liking to function in the ring in singles competition. But it just gelled so well, the wrestling strategy and his ability in the ring and his just fine sense of ring timing. And I think we complement each other. Nick is a barrel-chested young fellow, great upper body strength, and does good moves with side headlocks and any kind of upper body ring strategy. Plus, he has, I'd say, one of the finest drop kicks in the business.
Now he's on the disadvantage for sure, but how he pays off.
The Cuban came down, and as he's come through the air, hit both heels on the table, which was about 2.5–3 foot above the concrete there, and then went down. So, and there's Billy Hines rattling his cage.
Not enjoying the proceedings at this moment.
Right.
Referee is Jim Dotson, and the count is on.
Jim Dotson had a hard time. A referee's position is a lousy position to be in, especially in a tag match. you've got to be on top of it. You try to be on top of it, but you can't all the time. There's just so much going on with 4 bodies in there, and sometimes 5 with the manager if he is around the area. It's very hard not to look bad sometimes. Good elbow smash in the chest. Side hip lock, take over. Good position. There's an example of what Nick likes to do is get in close and put a good side headlock on. He gets a lot of pressure. There was an ex-world champion, Ed Strangler Lewis, who that was his favorite hold and won many a match with a good crushing side headlock. That's where many of the cauliflower ears in this business, the wrestler's sport, come from. Side headlock. Good short tackle. Second tackle.
Right now you have to be pleased with what's going on.
Good counter move, right? Hip lock and a double kick from the skate. Back into the side headlock. Nick knows where he's at in the ring. Good position, moves well.
Crowd really got into this match too. I might add, I was there at the ringside, and they were really into this one.
Yeah, it's the Winston-Salem Coliseum is, I think most of the people in the IWA network know, is a special meaning for Johnny Powers. I had a whole year's battle trying to get into the Coliseum after we were blocked from getting a continuance of our matches there. And this is the first re-debut of IWA in the Winston-Salem Coliseum after a year and 2 months. And the fans just turned on. And I think the wrestlers were all up for it too. All of us. It was like coming home again. It's like you've been away in a long tour and you come home with the family. And that's how the wrestling fans are in Winston-Salem. And it's just not the residents of Winston-Salem, because the wrestling fans that come down to the Coliseum come from a long distance. They come from, part of them from Virginia, the Martinsville, Collinsville area, Danville, Rocky Mount, Virginia. Some even come all the way from Roanoke and Lynchburg.
I had a fellow tell me, that came up to ringside and introduced himself and said he'd driven 100 miles just over the other side of Raleigh, Durham, to see this.
Wrestling fans have great loyalties. That whole surrounding area, up north at Mount Airy area, and King and over there, and Salisbury, Lexington, all over, on the other side of Greensboro, and the other side, Burlington. Just the wrestling in this marketplace is just well supported if you give them the right product. And I think IWA, the matchmakers and the promoters, are doing just that. They're doing a fine job with putting together exciting matches and bringing in good talent that has an enormous appeal for this marketplace, that's different and new and unique, and many times controversial, like the 2 Cuban assassins. This is a different move, a dive on an arm when he's got it in a strange position. It doesn't take much to do a lot of damage to the joint areas, the elbows and the knees. And you can
hard kick right there to the back of the neck.
Bust up and do a lot of harm to the ligaments and tendons with just a small amount of force. These fellows are not enormously tall, but powerful they are. I'd guess they're somewhere around the 5'10", 5'11" mark, weighing in somewhere around 225, 230. But do they move? And here's an example of double teaming. The referee should have been a little tighter on this, but it's hard to fault him for it, because it's just the control in the tag team matches is very, very hard.
Tag is made, and there you are.
The tag was made, but Jim Dotson did not see the tag. And you should have heard the fans and Powers yell here. I'm trying to point to take a look. There's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of fans up there, and they're bearing witness to the tag. And the referee says, if I didn't see it, I didn't see it. Strong move on that left arm. Here's an example of good wrestling strategy, where you continue to work on one body part and wear it down.
All right, the Cuban Assassins, Nick DeCarlo and Johnny Powers. We're going to have to take a commercial break, but we will return to this exciting match from the Winston-Salem Memorial Coliseum in just a moment. All right, we've taken our commercial break, and Johnny, we're right back to the action. Nick DeCarlo, yours truly, and the Cuban Assassins.
And they're still working on that arm. The key with these boys is that they can wrestle, and they keep constantly tagging out and coming in with a fresh partner. And if you can do that, Good tag. Now the referee should have seen that tag.
Forearm. Right into Nick. Great action. The crowd at this point was on its feet and yelling, "Go, Johnny, go." Which had to pump up the old adrenaline.
It feels good, you know.
Home crowd advantage.
Exactly that, right? Any athlete who's competing in any sport, when he feels the support of the audience there, and you feel better. You don't want to let them down. You function basically as an individual, and your own sense of pride says, well, I don't want to look bad in the ring. I want to compete as strongly and as well as I can. But when you've got a bunch of people there that are kind of looking out for you and looking after you to support-wise, you just let out a little better. Hard dumping. No, it's nothing in the corner post there.
I thought we had the Cuban Assassins now. They were in Winston-Salem a couple of weeks ago. They will be wrestling throughout the Carolinas during the months to come.
Right, in Virginia, too, all through the IWA network down here on the East Coast. This is where I thought I had them, but it shows the resilience, the strength of both of them. The partner came in to give him that extra couple-second breather, and if he doesn't get up, right, I thought most men cannot take a crack to the head like that with a steel post. But he comes out of it. This shows you when an athlete's really in condition, you can take an enormous amount of punishment and still come back and keep the match alive.
Of course, this was a long match. It had to go over 22 to 25 minutes.
It felt like a couple hours in there. There are sometimes, if you're really in shape and you feel you've got your match psyched out, you can coast once in a while. This is not a match where you could coast for a second. If we didn't stay on top of it, we would have lost the belts. There was no question about that. I figured I'd give the Cuban a little exchange on the arm lock that he'd give to DeCarlo, just so he didn't think they were going to get away with it.
On the fans jumping up in front of the cameras that were there at the Coliseum.
Wrestling's a spectator sport. I mean, the fans just turn on. They get really involved with
Up and over.
And here's a backdrop that not many wrestlers can take. The fellow had to go up about, I'm 6'4", and if I could mount it by that, it's over 8 foot, so the fellow took an 8 foot backdrop there. He should have stayed down. Nice move. He got rid of it. Strong fellows. They're all over the ring, and it's hard to stay on top of them. The fans, a lot of the fans didn't sit down for the whole match, I don't think. Huh?
That's right. It's so hot. You talk about if anybody's ever boxed, and I know every kid in the country has boxed a round. One round, which is like 3 minutes. And you're just beat. But this goes on for like 22 to 25 minutes. It was very, very warm under the lights. And of course, when you're taking in and out of the ring, and you're taking the shots, sooner or later somebody's going to have to throw in the towel.
It's an example, too, of for all the wrestling fans that are used to watching studio matches that are taking various locations around the country. This is an example of the atmosphere that's in the arenas and coliseums, and why you should come out when the wrestling matches come to your area. There's a whole different feel and flavor to it in a coliseum environment where there's thousands of people, and the fans just make sometimes the building literally vibrate, and the different effects, the lighting effect is different. It's when you're just seeing the studio environment, you see, or a TV auditorium, you might see 200 or 300 or 400 people sometimes, but here you see literally thousands of people, and you really get into it, and this is what makes the wrestling fans come out. Once he's come down and he's seen the part as this is here on the Coliseum, they just keep on coming out.
I thought this was it, but off the top rope. And that is why the IWA promoters decided to go out and tape this match in Winston-Salem, so we could put it on television along the IWA network and let the fans just see the match from the Coliseum standpoint. And of course, you don't have the time limit. On television, we're working on an hour,
Right.
and so you don't. Some of these matches, the last three I know at the Coliseum were hour time limits. So in every match, I think the last three went over 20 minutes. And of course, on television, when you are restricted to an hour of TV time, you cannot have a match that goes on and on and on and on. Because of the time.
There's different times. There are 15 and 20 minute time limit matches on television.
Besides the atmosphere you were talking about that you get in the Coliseum, where you have
And you
the
see
large
top
crowds.
And you see top matchmaking too. The promoters go all out to make sure that their matchmakers come up with exciting combinations, and that the fans will want to see and come down and get good box office results, because that's where a promoter is really at, right? He's interested in a lot of people coming down, so he's got to supply a good product in the Coliseum arena.
Got to pay those bills, like any business. And of course, we've got a great match coming up. So stay with us. You're going to see the magnificent Zulu, and he is that, against Dick the Bulldog Brower on this hour.
Big dude. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
And there's an example. The referee should have been a little tighter in that. If they're going to, another man's going to come in, it should be a legal tag.
He's got like a basic claw hold there.
Yeah, it's a nerve hold that digs deep in the side of the neck and into the trapezius area.
And smart. Right off the top rope. All right, now you don't like to watch this.
This
Not great fond of memories here.
He's got a leg grapevine on and an arm bar, and doing a good job on that. And the body weight, I probably outweighed him by maybe 10, 15 pounds. But the way he's positioned on top, it's hard. You can tell I was doing my best to get out of it. And I'm not moving very far because he's got a good leg grapevine on me. Good position. And this is an example where you can ride your man and wear him out. He's got to lift your body weight and his body weight too, right? So he's got a double workload there. Straight arm bar.
And now you've been in the ring a good 6 to 8 minutes.
Good ring strategy, both assassins. A hard team to work against. Very hard team to wrestle.
Just a couple of weeks ago in the Winston-Salem Memorial Coliseum, taped highlights of the tag team championship battle between Nick DeCarlo, Johnny Powers, the current IWA tag team title holders, and the Cuban Assassins. We also want to make mention that IWA Wrestling will be returning to Winston-Salem May the 27th. That's a Friday night at 8:30 with an all-star lineup. I understand Zulu is returning, and Hez Watley, and Big Bad John, Brower, you'll be there, DeCarlo, Sohan, Danny Little Bear, who's a new wrestler to the area. It's going to be a great program. May the 27th at 8:30. It's a Friday night. And again, you have not managed to get over, and I know you're trying to make that. Do you ever lose where you're at in the ring? Like, where is DeCarlo? Is he over here? Is he over there? My Lord, where is the man? I've got to make the tag. I'm tired and I'm hot. I need a break. I need to catch my breath. Do you ever lose exactly where you're at?
Your ring sense, sure. I think any wrestler says it doesn't is not telling like it is. If you're really positioned there and you concentrate on one thing, if you're concentrating on your opponent, you can't always keep aware of what else is going on outside the ring. But you try to as much as you can, as quickly as you can, or you don't survive in that ring. Depending on your ability to keep it all together in a tag match, you've got to take advantage of every opening and every breather. That's what makes tag team matches exciting. They originated in Australia. The formal title is Australian Tag Team Wrestling. And there's just so much more action goes on in a tag match because you can tag off and get out of that and let a fresh man come out. Here's an example. Nick's all wrong there. He's going to do a job of it. It's a fantastic move. Look at a slingshot into the corner bucket. And build him a new face there.
And again.
Another example.
This is a fantastic
Good move.
Right over the top rope and out.
That should have been the match right there. Good form smashes. Good shot.
We got them both out. Here comes number 1 and number 2. I don't know their names either. Hard to tell them apart.
Suplex.
Oh.
Good setup for finishing.
He came back.
Short tackles. Side. We're going to side hip lock him, and their arms locked and the top ropes. It's a freaky move. I've never seen it happen before in wrestling. An attempt at a side hip lock and almost a completion. That was the other assassin going to try to double team Nick on the floor. And
all
just
4
wasn't going to happen as long as I
now.
could walk.
And the count is on from the referee, Mr. Dodson. And now it's all over.
I don't think any of us were aware,
Right.
except that one assassin was trying to get back in the ring there.
Right.
Aware of the timing that was going on there.
There was the count out. And what do you get? 30 seconds?
20 count on the
20?
floor, 10 in the apron, and a 4 count with a 5 as a disqualification on the ropes if you don't break.
Disqualification. All 4 wrestlers were outside the ring. And let's see what happens.
Neither Nick and I were aware of. We should have been watching the time closer and got back in the ring. And would have had a better shot at it, a much better shot.
Of course, it's hard to tell with that much noise and that much confusion of exactly what's going on. Now the presentation of the belts. I think that's coming up. There's the man out of the cage. You know that fellow?
Yeah, Hines had to try to stick his nose in. And this is going to be one of the last times he does it.
I've got his walking stick. Right now he's bleeding, crying. Up and over.
Look at the fans standing
Yes. I love this. Like a sack of potatoes. Great action from the Winston-Salem Memorial Coliseum. Tag team action with Johnny Powers, Nick DeCarlo, and the Cuban Assassins, along with their manager, Bad Boy Billy Hines. Now, on that situation, explain to the wrestling fans what exactly took place there. We broke away from the tape, but there were no winners.
The title does not change hand on a disqualification or a count out. It must be a pinfall, a three count pinfall, or a submission. And it was a 20 count. Both teams were counted out on the floor for a 20 count. And I talked it over with Nick, I'd like to get in the ring against the Cuban Assassins again. We'd be happy if their manager would, at any time, any place, get them back in the ring. We'd like to have it a firm finish and a decisive win.
But as it stands now, you have the belts.
We're current IWA Tag Team Champions.
And no match has been signed yet to go against the Assassins.
Not at the moment.
Of course, there are other capable teams throughout IWA, and one Tyler Brothers, who held that title for a long while. We got to take a break for some commercials, and then we'll be back with more action. The Magnificent Zulu and Dick the Bulldog Brower coming up in just a moment.
This is the tattooed madman Psycho Mike. And if you don't want to get locked in a mental ward with me, you'll click like and hit subscribe now.
I've seen your stupid videos. Actually, I'm lying. I haven't seen your stupid videos. I've heard about your stupid videos. From me to you, go fuck yourself.
period here. There was no one bigger when it mattered less. The man with the perfect face for radio. The tattooed madman psycho, Mike!
Here. Check it out. You're listening to Psycho Mike's Masters of Mayhem Underground Radio. Broadcasting live, online, and worldwide from Cleveland, Ohio. That guy plays anything and everything. And he likes the rest of my family. Even Meg. So we can't be all bad. I bring to you the man with the perfect face for radio, the part-time crazy, 100% psycho, the tattooed madman, Psycho Mike.